Okay, welcome to Astrology 101, or essentially the ABCs of astrology. So Christina, it's right. Christina and I wanted to introduce give you an introduction on what astrology is, because sometimes it can be misguided and what's the word I'm looking for? Like misunderstood, really.
Misunderstood. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because astrology is just a language. It's just the language of the stars, right?
Yep. And I love that. It is a language. And so it's a language that you learn to speak. And just like learning languages, there are some languages that you might have a natural propensity for, and some that just seem super challenging. And so the language of astrology, there's also other languages. There's the language, say, of human design. There's the language of Reiki healing. Like there's these different languages, but it's not a belief system. So you either speak it, want to understand it, or have somebody translate it for you, but you can't believe in it or not believe in it. It's just a language.
Yes, it just is, which is a really great indicator of like how astrology works, because it's energy. It's just the energy of the stars. Each planet and each star, each zodiac, each has like characteristic traits that is like it holds that energy. And so we actually are impacted by the energy of the stars because we are energy as well. In fact, I read something somewhere, and I wish I could remember. I need to go find it again because I got to document it. But it was essentially saying that the distance between us, currently, us and Pluto, is actually closer than some of the cells in our body. And our cells in our body work together. So how could we not have the opportunity to work with the cosmic energy? And it's just
amazing.
I know, and it comes down to kind of magnetic force. We have this if you think about magnets, it pulls together or pushes apart, and that's kind of how in the most basic terminology how astrology works. And so it really is just a science. And sorry, I love that you brought up all like different modalities, because I mean, if you look at Enneagrams or strength finders or any personality test, anything like that, we are not left in this world as humans with no information. We, especially if you believe in some sort of higher power or some sort of like reason for being here, there's maps all over there's maps everywhere. There's maps on your hand as like a map of your body. There's a map of your foot.
We have the maps in our toes.
Yes, for toe reading. There's maps in your toes. There's maps in the stars. And so it's really just which map are you picking up and working from. And we love astrology. We speak the language. We are astrologers. And so we are here to help you understand yourself based on your stars.
Yes, absolutely. That was beautifully explained, April. Another analogy that I use sometimes is in a river flowing. So let's just say a river of water and compare that to a river of energy. All the energy is out in the universe. Where the stones are in the riverbed influence the flow of that water. Same with the stones that are floating out in our galaxy. It influences the flow of the energy in the river of the universe.
Yes, and I love that you brought up it influences, because so often, we are, people are concerned that, oh, well, if it's just in the stars, then my life is already determined and I have no say in it, and I'm just being impacted. But what would you say about that?
I would say what it really does is gives you more choices, because I'm a big believer in having vocabulary to identify what is being experienced, what we're feeling, those things, when we put a vocabulary word around it, when we identify it, it allows us to make more choices. And I'm going to use another analogy. I love analogies, but when we know the emotion that we're feeling, we have so much more than sad, mad, glad, right? If I'm feeling rage, I might think that I'm feeling angry, but if I identify it as rage, my choices in how I handle this rage is different. Or if I think I'm glad, but what I'm really experiencing is joy, I have more choices within that. And so this is the same with astrology. When we know these and have vocabulary for these influences, for these experiences, and identifying vocabulary for experiences that we have experienced really helps us put it into a context so we have even greater choices, and most importantly, conscious choices that we can make because we have more information.
Yes, the conscious choices. So actually, it ends up offering you more free will and more agency. You get to choose how you work with the energy. And there's always within astrology, every sign, every planet, everything has like like higher vibrational attributes and lower vibrational attributes. And we get to choose how we work with them, how we present them. And so, yes, I love that because really, truly knowing your astrology helps actually to empower you more, especially because sometimes you just need to understand what the heck is going on. And if someone can be like, oh, yeah, you're feeling this intense pressure because you have a Saturn return happening. And it's like, oh, and it's going to end. It's going to end. And it's like, okay, I can handle it. I can do this. I'm not going crazy. It's validating, but it's also empowering. So
And depending on where that Saturn is in your chart with that information, you can even further hone down, where am I feeling that pressure? Oh, okay, I see that in my chart and I'm experiencing it. Oh, thank you. Now I have more clarity. I've been able to put on this pair of glasses and see with more clarity that it's actually happening, let's just say, in the house of partnerships. So I'm experiencing some kind of stress in this house of partnerships, but what I'm really doing is lashing out at my children or my colleagues. That's not where so taking a few layers back to that. And another thing that sometimes that goes along with this that I've heard people express is, well, I don't want to be put in a box. And astrology, I think, does everything does not put you in a box whatsoever. What it does is it helps to label the box that we're in. Everyone's in a box. I'm sorry if that hurts some people's feelings. You're in a box. Okay. Everyone's in a box. It just depends on what do those boxes look like. And once I've identified where the borders of those boxes are, then I can choose, do I want this? Where do I want to expand in this? Do I want to be in a whole different container? Or, all these things. And so that astrology helps you identify what you couldn't see around you that may actually be putting you in this box.
Interesting. I love that so much. So really, this is just an introduction to help you understand why and how astrology works. We in Astro Geeks are here. We are going to do our very best to teach you just the basics so that you can look at your chart and be able to understand on a level to know what you're seeing and be empowered by it.
Absolutely. To identify where this lunation is happening in your chart and what it's activating in your chart is life-changing.
It really is.